We have the Mets. Time to talk about the New York Mets. Our audience ranked them the 9th best team in baseball this year. They won 77 games. They were that bad last year?
They really faded at the end, if you remember.
I guess I forgot.
Straight nose. I remember they were leading the East for a while, and it was like
I remember that. Yeah, I just didn't know the final number ended at 77. I would have guessed it was like the Phillies, like 82 or 80.
When it fell, it fell.
Wow, I didn't know that. I guess maybe I did, but I forgot. 77 and 85, they missed the playoffs. Holy smoke-a-mo, smoke-a-mo. They were booing their own fans and stuff like that. Now I remember. Jake, you're up.
Talk about, we got names out, names in, fellas. Javi Baez, trade deadline, he gone. Tigers, how's a $140 million? Let's get dinner. Marcus Stroman, his time as a Met is over. He's in Wrigley now. Noah Syndergaard on my Halos. Won't regret that at all. Conforto remains unsigned. Aaron Loop, how good was he last year? Familia, Brad Hand, Rich Hill, Kevin Pillar, Albert Almora, Jose Peraza. That's a lot of dudes. They brought in the dude. Max Scherzer will pair up in the rotation with DeGrom, Boogity Boogity. Starling Marte, Chris Bassett, Mark Canha. How's your Oakland A's? Eduardo Escobar, 5-tool light, and Adam Ottavino, wee, like a cop car. Trev, they added and they lost that rotation. Some are saying it could be the best in all the land.
James, Jacob, BBD, this could be one of the best rotations in the big leagues. I think it might be, especially when you're talking about the top three guys. Jacob deGrom, do you guys remember the start of the year he had? We were talking all-time seasons, not just a great season, an all-time season. Got cut short, missed all of the second half, but he's back feeling good. Looks lights out in spring training. Behind him, they brought in Max Scherzer, who was lights out last year for the Nationals and the Dodgers. They just traded for Chris Bassett, who was also incredible for the A's. So those top three guys right there, that's competing against any team in the big leagues, bar none. And I think if you're really breaking down, that's probably the best top three in the big leagues. Behind them, Cookie Carrasco, Tyler McGill, Taijuan Walker. So we're talking depth too in the bullpen. I like the bullpen a lot. Edwin Diaz, Trevor May, Adam Ottavino, Seth Lugo, Miguel Castro. These are guys that can pitch in a lot of different situations and gets you outs. I like the pitching. I like the relievers. I like the starters. James, what about that lineup?
The lineup's got some new faces. They got some familiar ones as well. First rounder Brandon Nimmo. Still doing the thing. Starling Marte comes over. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Cano back in the fold. Eddie Escobar, Jake's guy. Jeff McNeil, Mark Canha. Every time I say his name, I ask that question. Canha.
I say Canha.
Canha. James McCann. McCann.
Canha on Baseball Reference.
Got it. That's the lineup. I mean, Dom Smith is still around. JD Davis is still around. My dude, Luis Guillermo is still around. BBD's laughing.
Mark Canha's Twitter is @OutToParkMark.
Nice. Yeah, huge news is Conforto not around. Did lead the team in hit by pitch last year with 12. Mets were third in the NL in team hit by pitches. Good news, they bring in Mark Canha, the hit by pitch king. So if Mets fans were worried who's going to get all our hit by pitches, I mean, Mark Canha led all of baseball at 27 last year. So the Mets should be climbing up the NL rankings in total hit by pitches. Jonathan India is really helping those Reds out, though. So that's my first take.
That's good. I think I want to circle back on the pitching because let's be honest. I mean, what do we say about DeGrom and Scherzer? But they're incredible.
Oh my God, Marte, 13 hit by pitches last year. The Mets are going to
Mets
kill the hit by pitch game.
Look for some fights.
Yeah,
some fights at City this year.
Oh man.
Nimmo probably underrated. Like projected for a 379 on base this year. Dude just gets on base. Starling Marte, if he can somehow replicate what he was doing last year, he was incredible. Lindor, remember, he kind of had a down year offensively. First year in the NL. New York got some dead balls. We heard about that. I'd expect Frankie's offensive stats to jump up a little bit. Alonso's kind of a lock to hit some homers and be a big daddy in the middle of the lineup. I want to see what happens. J.D. Davis, that dude can hit. I look at the baseball savant, look at some of the numbers, watch him play. That dude can hit. Dom Smith, I think that dude can hit. Neither of them currently have a position, especially if Cano's DHing. I'm fascinated to see how all of that sorts out. And if there's a trade at some point this season, because I love their depth. I mean, if we did best benches in baseball currently, it might be the Mets because those guys are uber talented. If Dom Smith ends up playing every day, I think you're looking at like a 28, 30 homer guy. Interested to see how the lineup sorts out and just how the product on the whole feels. I mean, Eddie Escobar's at third now. Mark Canha in left. Starling Marte in right field. Like, there's a lot of new pieces here that, we were talking a lot about the Phillies defense. How does the defense feel with this team? And how does the lineup sort itself out? I'm not worried. I just don't know where it lands, but they got options.
I'm curious what they do with Cano. The last that's been reported on him is he's going to get a start at first base to expand the versatility. So that's interesting. I think that the DH spot is going to be a mixture of kind of rest days and who's hot. So you can put a JD Davis there. You can put a Dom Smith there. You can rest one of the outfielders. If Cano does start swinging it, what do? I don't see that happening. I got to be honest with you, but he does have that sweet stroke. So maybe it does come back for him. This team's a problem though. They're in a tough division, but they are fully equipped to handle it. And I think barring something completely Metsy, I guess we've coined that term. Barring something completely Metsy, this is a playoff team. And then when you get into those series where you shorten your rotation down to 3 and maybe a 4 if you need it, I don't think there's anyone better served for a playoff series than them.
No, they are built for the playoffs. They have a 1-2-3 that's fantastic, and they can hit. I will say we have a podcast on the John Boy Media Network called Shea Station, and they are doing player profile and projections for every single Mets player. Jake and I do them for the Yankees on Talkin Yanks, and they're doing them. So if you're a Mets fan tuning in, or you're just want to find out more about these players and more deep dives, Mets talk, make sure you check them out. They've been doing a great job on their predictions. I was listening to some reliever ones that I was interested with. Cano and JD Davis is interesting. It feels like push is going to come at some point. Same with Dom Smith and all that. They kind of just have a lot of guys, like you said, Jake. Not a bad thing, but
injuries happen. Like
just interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, exactly. The bullpen, a lot of those guys got used last year. Trevor May, it felt like he was pitching every day. Interested to see if there's any effects there, but you do like the back end of the bullpen. I mean, Edwin, May, Otto, Lugo, Miguel Castro, those guys have all gotten high leverage outs. We'll see how the back end of the bullpen develops. And then I think the other thing is DeGrom, Scherzer, it's health. If those guys are on the field, they're lights out. If they get 50 starts from that combination, Mets are going to win a lot of ball games. And Chris Bassett's really good. I guess Carrasco and Ty Walker. Ty Walker with one of the more bizarre seasons last year. All-star, nasty. And then he faded hard down the stretch. What Ty Walker are we getting this year? Friend of the pod, so he'll be great. And then Cookie Carrasco. I mean, Fangraphs has him projected for a 4.06 ERA in 26 starts. Carlos Carrasco last year had a 6.04 in 12. So some question marks at the back end. Health in the back end is the question for the pitching.
Can I do floor and ceiling with you guys?
Yes.
I think ceiling we all believe is win the division, go to the playoffs, and have the pitching, and they just win, right? Like they have a pretty high ceiling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They can win the division. I still think the Braves are a power.
Yeah, but I mean, you gave the Cardinals the ceiling of the division.
They absolutely can.
Absolutely
It's baseball.
Yeah. What's their floor? Do you think they can finish third? Do you think the Phillies and the Braves can jump them? Jake.
I do. I do. I mean, there's, this lineup I think sorts itself out. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like it has to be a premier lineup in baseball. I think it can, their floor is an okay solid lineup, which again, that's a pretty good floor. It's health. It's health. And you can say that for any team in baseball. Like, let's be honest, especially Trev, you said it, these top two starters, and Jim, like if they were in a playoff, if there was no regular season and a playoff started today, like we'd have action on the Mets, babe, because Scherzer, DeGrom. That being said, they have so many assets and resources banking on those two guys, and you could say it about any team in baseball, really. If the Yankees lost Cole and Sevy for the year, if the Mets lost these guys, if, Fried and Morton, like you could go around any team. If they lose their top two starters for a long period of time, that's going to hurt. DeGrom had the weird thing last year where he just kind of evaporated the second half of the season and nobody really talked about it. And then Scherzer's just getting old. Father Time's undefeated. Maybe not against Mad Max. He seems to beat everything he comes up against, whether it's baseball or the owners. Like Mad Max will be there. There's just so much invested in those two that a chunk of time, one way, both ways, that dictates their outlook more than any other team, I think.
I'm looking at the depth of their starting pitching, like, in the minor leaguers to know on Fangraphs. You got Tyler Mcgill, who already mentioned. David Peterson, a lefty, is 26 years old. Jordan Yamamoto, we've heard of him. He came over from Miami last year. Yenzi Diaz came over from Toronto. It's like they're going to need one of those guys to come in and give them meaningful innings at some point. Like, you're right. Like the top three, we're talking, these guys are great. Taijuan Walker, I think, is a really solid number 4.
Yeah.
And then that fifth spot, which you can say this about most teams, like it's going to be a carousel. You hope for stability there. If one of these guys can provide the stability and then you can keep that bullpen clean, then we're talking, yes, they can be the top of this division. I think that's where I'm looking. The 4th and 5th days, if they can stabilize those, we're going to get this team closer to their full potential.
If Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, and Bassett combine for 90 starts, 85 to 90 starts, does this team automatically make the playoffs and finish top 2? Because I think yes.
I think so, yeah.
80 starts, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you still have to make up those innings for 4 and 5, but like I said, Taijuan's a pretty solid number 4 option there. Yeah, I think you're right, James. 85 to 90 starts, 100%. This team's in the playoffs, and when you can do that and you can cut this rotation in half,
yeah,
this is when they really get scary.
Really scary. Okay. I had another question, and what's the Metsy storyline going to be?
Ooh.
Now, in a lot of ways, Cohen came, and he did change. They got Scherzer. They got Marte. They did a lot of good stuff. In other ways, they had a rat-raccoon incident.
Yeah.
They had players fighting in the tunnel.
Yeah.
They didn't land their number 1 prospect, and the owner got sued for this tweet about it. They thumbs down their own fans. What's it going to be this year?
This would be if we were actually sports radio. The most important change to the New York Mets.
That's what I was leading to.
Was Buck Showalter.
That's what I was getting at.
The buck stops here, man. Organizationally, we've got some ties to the Yankees. We've heard everything about Buck. He's different. He's a culture changer. That's why he was brought into the Diamondback situation. Buck Showalter, Orioles, he changes the environment, and the Mets needed that to get away from some of that stuff. If you gave me one guy, if I was the owner of the Mets, and I was like, hey, I want to make sure that we get away from some of our Metsy situations, Buck Showalter's the guy I would have brought in. I think he he was the most important manager change this offseason. Shout out Mel. We'll see what happens with the Padres. But man, that everyone we've talked to, we got to enjoy him as a fan of the Yes Network. He did some games and, talked between pre and post, and I attached to the screen when he talked. It was beautiful. We've talked to people behind the scenes that say it goes deeper than that. The dude operates differently. I think that's huge for the Mets. It literally changes the way I feel about the Mets season. And I know we talk about managers on both ends a lot. Doesn't matter, doesn't not. Buck changes how I feel about it.
All right, odds of a team mutiny because they don't like Buck.
Possible.
Okay.
Trevor?
So let's keep going further on that point. You're right about Buck. He is a guy that, is respected in the game. And I think he'll be able to handle that clubhouse. But let's focus on the clubhouse and the guys they brought in to stabilize the environment.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer, you think he takes these shit from anybody?
Yeah.
Do you think if he sees you fucking around, he's not going to come say something to you? Because he will. He wants to win. Okay? This is the twilight of his career. Maybe not. Maybe he's going to kill me for saying that. But, it's no nonsense from that guy. Okay? Chris Bassett, same way. Maybe not as intense, but he's going to come in there and, be a great clubhouse guy. And, oh, yeah, you want that energy? Because you might have some of those guys keeping the rules. You know who keeps it loose and fun every freaking day, Jake? You know who it is.
Eddie, baby.
Oh, my gosh. A spark plug. A guy that is going to bring positive vibes and energy every single day because he doesn't know how to be the other way. So, yeah, Buck's going to be there. The players also that they brought in are going to stabilize that environment. Adam Ottavino is going to be taking pictures of everyone.
Everything.
So you can't be messing around or else you're going to get a picture of it. So the clubhouse, I don't think we see too many Metsy things. How about that?
Awesome.
The other thing that I do think is of note.
Yeah.
The Mets have 3 top 25 prospects. Alvarez, the catcher, Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, the shortstop. Who is trade capital? I mean, Alvarez seems like the guy to pass the torch, McCann to him. So I don't think he's on the table. He's a top 5 prospect. The other guys, if there's a move to be made, and Uncle Steve, money shouldn't be the issue. Whether it's at the deadline or whatever it is, these guys should be locked and loaded. And when you put that all in the blender, when we talk about the depth with some of the bench pieces and how this season sorts out for them, if there's an upgrade, if there's we could package I don't want to throw out names. If they could package one of their positions with a prospect to get a big upgrade at one of the positions, I think that would be a really, really strong move for this Mets team, because I think that's the one thing that had me on the edge a little bit. They've got assets all around, MLB ready prospects and cash money. Now Trev's got a question: are we drinking Mets Kool-Aid?
No, I just have to read Fangraph's prospect blurb about Francisco Alvarez. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Guess so.
Built like an SEC fullback, the curvaceous Alvarez has explosive pull-side power and a good shot to stay behind the plate, which gives him a cathedral ceiling. That's the best blurb I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, well, baseball scout writers are just erotic
Poets.
Have you ever? Yeah,
Curvaceous, cathedral-like ceilings. Oh my god!
Baseball Scout's kind of creepy.
Baseball scouts are so creepy. Have you ever seen Rob Delaney's video where he reads a baseball scouting report?
Oh man, that's good, man.
I'll play it for you, just like a glimpse. If anyone's never heard this, let's play.
A few years ago in Harper, and it's from 2004. Might run in here, but anyway. The following phrases were culled by Sam Frank from the scouting reports of the first 50 rounds of the 2004 Major League Baseball first-year player draft. Warning, this is from me. Body maxed. Raw-boned physique. Chiseled. Supple. Avid with weights. Weight room strong. Low body fat. Developed upper half tapers to a defined waist, tapers to long, strong legs. Muscular thighs, long extremities. Big forearms, soft hands, long fingers.
Ball game.
Yes, baseball scouting reports are a little much.
I was always a
Just
high
say guy's
butt guy.
good.
That's how they described me.
You're a high butt guy? You're not
Yeah.
fast. High butt guys are supposed to be really fast.
I was.
You were
I was.
fast? That's one of
Yeah.
Buck Showalter's things. He loves high
Yeah, I
butt
was a
guys.
high butt guy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And hands like you dream about.
I'm not laughing. You might have good hands. I was just laughing at the words. All right.
Max's fun stat among players with 30-plus homers in 2021, Pete Alonso had the highest percentage of home runs registered as no doubters, 25 out of 37.
Congrats.
When Big Pete catches them, they go.
Beat Pete, home run derby. I'm excited for that. Over under is 90.5. I'm going to take the over. I mean, I agree. It's a Buck effect. It's a Scherzer effect. And Trev with the Escobar, like the fun dancing effect. Like I didn't even think about that. So I mean, on the field, I like all those moves as well, especially Scherzer and Bassett and Marte. And they got extra bats. So I'm going to take the over here. I like it.
Trev.
I'm taking the over as well. I think it's like a 94 win team.
Jake's taking the under. He thinks it's getting Metsy.
I have two things.
That's fine.
I have three things. Max Scherzer with the Dodgers last year when he got traded. Just a reminder, 11 starts, 7-0, a 1.98 ERA. That's nuts. You have to believe in something. I believe in Scherzer and DeGrom. I believe in Buck Showalter. I'm taking the Mets over in BBD. I have an update. I'm taking the Marlins under. Sorry, Fish. I'm sorry, man. This division's fucked.
Okay.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, I don't know. Seems illegal.
Fine. I'll allow it. Yeah, my vote.
Okay, allowed.
Sorry.
Yeah, what have I gone? BBD, can you tell me what we've gone?
Like how long we've been recording?
No, it's over-unders. No, just this division.
This division, they're ranked. They're ordered alphabetically. Marlins over, Phillies over, Mets over, Nationals under.
Okay. That's not bad.
I got to go Braves under, I think.
Well, here we go.
Find out.